This morning in North Carolina, wheels are spinning. Determination is winning. A passion is now a thriving business, and it shows no signs of slowing down. How? The power of a conversation, like the one Clint Spiegel had with First Horizon Bank about starting a bike wheel manufacturing facility in Asheville. Now it's not just talk, it's rubber meets road. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Clint. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
First on film and entertainment. We're getting towards the end of the year. No idea what the weather is doing because, hey, it depends on the time of the day. That's kind of what we're in for during the summer. Every summer. This is Melbourne. People in other states have no idea what they're missing out on. Do they, Greg King?
I think Sydney know what they're in for.
Well, I'm saying if you come to Melbourne, you've got no idea what sort of weather. Like in Melbourne, you know to prepare, right? You can prepare an umbrella, you can prepare a parka, you can prepare a T-shirt.
All on the same day.
Correct. That's the point. But, you know, any other state, that we're the laughing stock when it comes to weather. Is that not the case, Peter?
Look, I don't think so. I think our weather's become more settled and more predictable.
What are you talking about? It's totally unsettled all the time. Well, where's the predictability in that?
I don't know. We'll ask the Bureau of Meteorology.
Oh, God, you know, you get forecasts that are, 27 days in advance and they're wrong. No, it's not. Sorry, I love the Bureau. We shouldn't be like this at all. No. I just like the fact that now I look at my app and, for example, if we're looking ahead and we sort of, for those people who want to, you're looking at Christmas Day, you're looking at Boxing Day, I mean, obviously cricket, etc. But I mean, you're preparing for it, right? There's the anticipation. You get closer to it, and it's totally different. So I'd rather they not tell us if it's wrong. How do I get that across, Peter?
I don't know, but I suppose we'll weather the storm somehow.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, guys, one thing that I want to start with a show simply because I had no idea what to expect, and I've said to you that I saw the MTC production, which is very, very, very funny. And I also saw the comedy theatre production, which is very funny, related to Christmas. One, you know, it's the Scrooge story, right? So you've got the Jewish version and you've got the Christian version. So they've been terrific. No complaints whatsoever. And, you know, I want them to keep coming back year after year. But what I hadn't seen is a show called A Very Naughty Christmas. And apparently it's been playing in Queensland for 7 years. And this is the first time we've had it down here. Apparently it's playing in Queensland on both the Gold Coast and also in Brisbane. And there's also now a show in Melbourne. And some of the people from Queensland have come down and others have stayed there. And we've got original cast members from this state. So now both of you have seen Magic Mike, yeah? The movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've got to say, I was sitting in the theatre at Alex Theatre in St Kilda and sort of the opening, and you've got a nice Christmas carol behind curtains and you're thinking, okay, well, that's fair enough. Now, it's titled A Very Naughty Christmas. I've not read anything about it. And the next thing you know, I have no idea whether I'm watching Magic Mike or whether I'm watching Santa. That's the sort of show this is, Peter. So, I mean, you know, that's all right. And I've got to say, it's got an R rating. All right. So not too many shows I go to have an R rating. Not too many movies have an R rating. Now, I suppose that you could say that honestly, there are times you can't tell the difference between Magic Mike or Santa in what is a sexually promiscuous, irreverent Christmas review with no shortage of fun. Now, have I titillated your taste buds, Peter, or not?
Did Santa slide down the pole?
Yes. Yes, there is a pole. Very well picked up. Now, there is a barber's pole. And so it's a 2-tiered set. And on the top tier, you've got a 3-piece orchestra. And then you've got sets of stairs at either side, and you've got a barber's pole. So, that's the setup. Now, so it upends absolutely everything you thought you knew about the festive season and keeps the laughs coming. Now, that's what Christmas should be about, right? Family and fun. And I mean, look, you've got to have a really strong sense of humor here, because if not, you're going to be offended, right? So those people who are listening to us who happen to be, very fervently religious Christians are going to run 1,000 kilometers in the opposite direction, I dare say. It depends on their sensitivities. I shouldn't be that judgmental, but you've got the that Christmas carol, then that gives way to smut and innuendo. And I got to say that it was a full congregation, I was about to say, a full set of patrons on opening night, and boy, did they lap it up. The laughs were thick and fast. So you got song and dance, you got striptease, you've got a retelling of the first Christmas with audience participation, and then you've got St. Nick's politically watered down address. And that was my fancy. That was really my favourite. This political correctness that's going on and everything is sort of woke. Well, basically what they want to do, Santa sort of puts out a plea to all the boys and girls and whatever, and he runs through this with, if you like, a minder, and every time he opens his mouth, the minder says, no, you can't say that. And it is hilarious. So it starts with ho, ho, ho. But you can imagine you can't say that anymore, Greg, right?
I know, you still can.
No, you can't. What does ho mean, Peter?
Something a bit sexual.
Well, yeah, I mean, women who are loose, shall we say, right? So you can't say that. You can't start an address anymore. Right? That's you get my sensitivity. And then Christmas, you can't say that because that isn't inclusive enough. You can't say boys and girls anymore, though, Greg, can you? Because there are only 2 genders and there's more than 2 genders. You get me? So it does go down a treat. And, it's just to watch this unfold, because there's a lot of truth in all of this. I hate to say. You've got to be so careful about giving an address not to offend anybody. And it means that, anything you write, when you're writing a review, Greg, I suppose a lot of this doesn't really apply to you, but a lot of the shows I go to with my written reviews, I've got to be so careful that I appropriate the correct pronoun to the person. And if they're in the program, that makes it a lot easier. If it's not in the program, I've also got into trouble when it's not been in the program. How am I supposed to know, Greg?
I know.
No, that doesn't help me, Greg. Come on, get with the program. Peter, what would you suggest?
I suggest you go with your gut instinct and don't worry about what anyone else says or thinks.
Ooh. No. Oh, no. I've copped flack for that in the past. And, you can't get away with that anymore. So anyway, I'll continue to struggle with pronouns. So, look, I've got to say that the cast even manages to find room for a tap dance routine. So, look, bloody marvellous, all of this, I say. Really, really good. It's a joyful show. But, of course, as I said, if you're easily offended, don't go, because they swear like troopers. They're not backward in coming forward. 8 performers, plus the 3-piece band. And you've got the musical director, Martine Wengrow, on keyboard, Sam Ainsley on guitar and bass, and Facu Alvarez on drums. All the artists excel, but I want to highlight 3 of them. Having seen Tim Page fill the big man's shoes, I'll never look at Santa the same way again. Apart from his potty mouth, let's just say he doesn't mind bearing more than a little skin. And I was left to ponder whether that was actually a fur coat covering his chest. I'll leave that in the ether. He'd be a lock at any Christmas party worth its salt. That's all I can say. Shay Debney is his most endearing offsider, and he's an eager-to-please elf to whom the audience immediately warms, and his affectations are priceless. And then you've got Jordan Twigg. She vocally is sensational. I've seen her before, and she's a commanding presence, has the most mellifluous voice. And others on the stage, Rebecca Roll, Joe Kalu, Kate Yaxley, Madeline Pratt, and Joshua Spinello. So that's the 8 cast members. And overall, many of the tuneful songs with sexually forward lyrics are absolute rippers. And the show is the brainchild of the creators Alex Woodward and Dan Vance. And Vance also wrote, choreographed, and directs the offering alongside co-writer and director Alistair Smith. Skit writers Emily Christopher, Stephen Hurst, and Matt Semple. Collectively, they really do know how to tap into crowd sensibilities. They turn the tables on woke and how. The pacing of A Very Naughty Christmas is spot on, never a dull moment. One routine simply rolls into the next. And I must say that Santa's attempt at going PC is the thing that really hits the mark for me. So, that's the Jolly Fat Man. Bawdy costuming by Isaac Loomis, including lace underwear, shimmery suits, no shortage of flesh-revealing numbers in green, red, gold and white. Sex toys, large playing cards to cover the privates prove to be quite useful props here, Peter. Are you getting in on the Christmas action here?
Oh, sorry, I'm still imagining Santa sliding down the pole.
Thank you very much. 80 minutes of hilarity and vice. It's, I'd describe this, Greg, as a box of licorice all sorts. Do you like licorice?
No.
You're not into licorice?
No.
Who's not into licorice? Well, everything's left on the stage. The title of it, A Very Naughty Christmas, speaks volumes. It is very naughty, but nice. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And again, I make the point, suitable for adults only, playing at a theatre that bears my name. Do I get royalties? Do I? No. Anyway, it's called the Alex Theatre. It's in St Kilda. It's playing till the 23rd of December, and it is heaps and heaps of fun. I just, if you've got the right, it puts you in the right frame of mind. It's a great, if you're wanting to have a bit of a breakup at work, this would be an absolute ripper of a night out. It's that sort of, it is that sort of show. So anyway, there's lots of Christmas shows that have been doing the rounds. Christmas Under the Big Top is still on for those people who want to go to Burnley Oval and catch that one. And you've got a Christmas Carol and a very Jewish Christmas Carol. So, they mind you, they are going to be finishing very, very soon. I'm just, anyway, a Christmas Carol, no. Christmas Carol's going till the 7th of January. So that's well worth catching if you haven't caught it at the Comedy Theatre. And the other one is the Melbourne Theatre, a very Jewish Christmas Carol. And I'm just looking up the date that finishes, because I think it is, it's in fact, it finished yesterday. So there we go. Hopefully next year that comes back. Let's turn to some movies. And the big one of the week, and you're on J Air, by the way, 88 FM, intelligent, interesting, entertaining, engaging programming, good music, 24/7. And if you want to become a member, you just need to go to j-air.com.au and pay $54 and you can become a member. It's as easy as that. Let's talk about Wonka, boys. Now, okay, for those people who go back to Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka, I found it hard to believe that was 52 years ago. So you were but a lad at that stage, Greg? Yeah?
Was I? I was probably, didn't even see the original, I think, on Silverchammer TV.
What about Johnny Depp?
Yes.
Yeah, that was 18 years ago. So, yeah. Okay, when you think about this, the newest generation haven't been brought up on Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp. So, I mean, unless you're into movies, which, Peter, you were before, you were in the birth canal still. That was, what, about 237 years ago? But
yes,
never,
Mozart. Yes.
Sorry?
With Mozart, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yes, thank you. I mean, what I'm getting at, though, you would see movies before you were born. I get that. But a lot of people don't. So do you think it's fair game, and this is the conversation I want to have, do you think it's fair game that they redo, no matter how good a movie is, a movie for the next generation? Or do you think that it's incumbent upon people, even though they're reluctant to do that, to go and visit something predating their birth? What's your view?
That's a hard one because the originals are usually always the best. However, remakes can be very good if they change things a little bit, if they update, if they have something that gives that extra energy to an original story. But generally speaking, I mean, a great example is Psycho. When they did a remake of Psycho, that was abominable.
Yes, it wasn't good. Oh, but the remake...
But Alice is not a strict remake. It's more of an origin story.
It is more of an origin. A valid point, but it's still, it still deals with the same theme. I mean, the point that I was making, I reckon it's only fitting that this generation has its own Wonka, right? And the singing, dancing Timothy Chalamet, I reckon he makes a mighty good fist of it. To me, like Johnny Depp, great choice, okay? Gene Wilder, terrific choice. I think all three of them have been outstanding choices. Do you not think that, Greg?
Yeah, and they've been a different take on the character here. And I think Timothy Chalamet here brings a much more of an innocent, naive approach to the character.
I think that's great. I think that's great because it's got a PG rating, but it's a pretty wholesome representation, and I liked it because it was like that, and I think he's a really good actor. What was the gay-themed film that...
Call Me By Your Name.
Which was just fabulous and really thrust him into the public eye. And I've got to say, there are certain actors that you look forward to seeing in roles because you know they're going to do a good job. I think he's one of them. I think he's really cemented his place. How old is he? What, late 20s by now, or not even that?
No, I think he's about 23, 24 or something like that.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. He's really charming. He's effusive. He's the sort of magic man come chocolatier who arrives in town after...
27.
He's 27. There you go. Okay. Thank you. Well, and when was Call Me By Your Name, mate? Just would you mind Googling while we're chatting away here? So he's this magic man come chocolatier, arrives in town having spent 7 years at sea, and he arrives, he decides he wants to open a chocolate shop. And having spent and squandered the 12 sovereigns in his pocket on his walk from ship to shore, he's now skint. And he chooses to think the best of a rogue who ushers him out of the cold.
Okay, Call Me By Your Name is 2017.
There you go. So, all right, so...
6 years ago.
6 years ago. So, all right, so if he's 27, 21-year-old, thrust into the limelight, he's very, very boyish in terms of his look as well. Anyway, Bleacher is the name of the rogue, played by Tom Davis, looks to take advantage of Wonka's vulnerability, takes him to lodgings at Mrs. Scrubbett's. Mrs. Scrubbett, played by Olivia Colman. It took him out great actors. Anyway, not listening to the sage advice of one of Scrubbett's helping hands, kept in servitude, I might say, this helping hand, Wonka fails to read the fine print because he can't read. And as a result, he signs up for what he's told is a sovereign a night, which he believes he can easily cover, only to be hoodwinked big time. And in a matter of hours, his bill rises to 10,000 sovereigns, and he joins several others trapped in Scrubbett's web. But Wonka's different to the others. Seemingly out of nowhere, he can magically create the world's most delicious chocolates that result in people literally taking flight. Now, at this point, I'm going to pause and ask, are you a chocoholic, Gregory King?
I like my chocolate, yes.
Yeah, okay. In terms of your favourite food, does chocolate rate in the top three?
I don't know about the top three, but it might be. It will certainly be in the top 5 or 6.
All right. Peter, true, give here. Yes? Chockies?
I do like chocolate, especially dark chocolate, yes.
You like dark chocolate? Okay.
Yes.
So, now, in your top 3 food groups?
I don't, again, like Greg, not necessarily top 3, but certainly in the top 10.
Okay. Chocolate is number 1 for me. I absolutely adore chocolate, and chips is number 2. So does that make me very healthy, Peter? Right.
Have you checked your cholesterol lately?
And then, But I mean, you can air fry chips these days, so they're healthier, right? And they keep telling us that dark chocolate, the darker the better, is actually good for you. I'm not sure I believe that, but there you go. All right, so I like the fact, but mind you, I tell you what, chocolate is one of life's pleasures, no question about that. And you go to a lot of European countries, and you have to go along, and some of the chocolate shops, just the smell of a chocolate shop. Mind you, working in chocolate shop like Cadbury would be a bit of a challenge after a while, I reckon. Whether isn't it Cadbury that allows you to eat as much as you want? I'm not sure whether they then have a dietitian in to ensure that their workers don't drop dead. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. That just snuck out of my lips, and I deny it immediately. Anyway, I like Cadbury chocolate. I do. I also like Lindt. I think that's a really nice brand of chocolate. Now, what happens in Wonka is that people who try his chocolate that sort of he creates magically, as I say, literally take flight. And what happens beyond that is that he forges an instant connection with the orphan girl who urged him to read the fine print at the establishment where he's staying. And that girl's name is Noodle, or that's her nickname, played by Carla Lane. And with her help, she breaks his restraints, intent on opening a chocolate shop in a posh part of town named Gallery Gourmet. Right? So her help, she breaks his restraints because he's literally tied down effectively. And it's something that he foresaw years earlier when his beloved mother, played by Sally Hawkins, who's now no longer with us, introduced him to the delights of handmade chocolate. That's how he got his love of the particular delicacy. Only what he doesn't count on is a conspiracy by a cartel operated by 3 uppity chocolatiers to keep him out of the market. And those 3 are Slugworth, played by Patterson Joseph, Prodnose Matt Lucas, and Fickelgruber Matthew Bainton. In their pockets are the Chief of Police, not literally, the Chief of Police, played by Keegan-Michael Key, a priest called Father Julian, Rowan Atkinson, and 500 chocoholic monks. Yes, you got it. You can be close to God and still like your chockies. But Wonka's nothing if not persistent, and of course he possesses this indomitable spirit. And one can't overlook his encounter with the diminutive orange Oompa Loompa with green hair, played by Hugh Grant. Who better to play the Oompa Loompa? And this Oompa Loompa has been stalking him. And the Oompa Loompa maintains that Wonka is beholden to him. And now, okay, so this is Wonka infused with some strong musical numbers which help carry the narrative. And the resetting of the Roald Dahl story is by Simon Farnaby and Paul King. I think it works a treat. It's colourful, it's creative, puts smiles on faces anew. Not surprisingly, it's the larger-than-life characters that make the piece what it is, and many are priceless. And I've already referenced Timothée Chalamet being so endearing. Olivia Colman revels in her greedy and wicked persona, which Tom Davis feeds. Patterson Joseph, Matt Lucas, Matthew Bainton play up the chocolate baron's arrogance and entitlement. Carla Lane displays resilience as Noodle. And the person who's gifted some choice one-liners and doesn't let us down, delivers them with aplomb is Hugh Grant. His droll sense of humour suits the role perfectly. Always a crowd favourite, I would have liked to have seen more of Rowan Atkinson as an unlikely man of the cloth. And among the many standouts in the film is the sumptuous costuming and the production design by Lindy Hemming and Nathan Crowley, respectively. Paul King, who established his bona fides as a fine family film director with Paddington and also Paddington 2, I reckon he's crafted another beauty. It's a delightful blend of fantasy, adventure and humour, and chocolate lovers can rejoice. Don't you think, Greg?
Yes, indeed. There's a fun film there. And Paul King, as you said, has established himself. I really enjoyed Paddington 2 there. And fittingly, Hugh Grant, who's had a great couple of years there with his roles in Paddington and a couple of Guy Ritchie films, I thought he was excellent as Oompa Loompa there. Special effects have reduced him to a minuscule size, but he was having fun there. Timothée Chalamet brings that sense of innocence and naivety to the younger, optimistic Wonka there. But at times the film had a bit of a Tim Burton feel to it, I thought, there, especially the scenes set in the underground laundry there, and Olivia Colman's role there reminded me of a couple of Tim Burton films, particularly the Sweeney Todd there. It sort of captured that vibe for me. But it's very colourful, a lot of song and dance numbers there. I thought a couple of the songs were a little bit blander, actually, Alex.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I like the songs. Okay, because they were really poppy type tunes, and I'm into top 40 type stuff, I'm afraid. So this suited me. Okay, so but I mean, the performances. Did you also really, like me? I really enjoyed the role that Mrs. Scrobbett's role. I thought
Olivia Colman, I thought he was really great as a villain there. I enjoyed the little bit that Rowan Atkinson did there.
we needed more of him, didn't we?
Yeah, we needed more of him.
Yeah, because he didn't really have a chance. He was gazumped by Hugh Grant because Hugh Grant was gifted all these great lines. So, but it's a fun film and it's PG rated, so a lot of people are going to enjoy it. But I think adults as well as youngsters can have fun with this, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Curmudgeon. Oh, sorry, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Step up to the plate. Come on, please tell me you enjoyed Wonka.
I actually did enjoy Wonka. I thought a really nice British film which had a sort of Dickensian quality to it. And yes, Paul King, who directed Paddington 1 and 2, really knows how to get the humour going. And he also directs the song and dance numbers very well. I was surprised how good Chalamet was with the singing and dancing and so on. The special effects are also quite noteworthy. And really well produced. And yes, a great cast. It was nice to see John Carter, who was in The Crown and other sort of British films also.
Is that Magna's brother?
Thank you.
King John will be proud.
Yes.
All right.
Not a gag joke there, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Greg, you're slipping, my friend. You haven't slipped too many in. So, I just thought I'd lift the tone. There you go. Keep going, Peter.
We'll lower the tone.
Lower the tone. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Keep going, Peter. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I actually like the new musical numbers as well as the rendition near the end of Pure Imagination, which has featured in the first Willy Wonka film. So, look, there are some really nice elements to the film. There are some potential darker moments, which the film, of course, defeats and goes very strongly positive. And I can see a possible sequel in the wind to look at Wonka's journey from establishing himself to going to the next stage and what happens when he became
what would
a recluse.
You call the sequel?
No,
It will be very...
It's a hard one.
I'll call it Wonky.
Wonky.
Wonka goes wonky.
Wonky.
So,
because I'm afraid that Paddington 2 didn't show a lot of imagination for me, and Wonka 2 doesn't really show a lot of imagination, hence the reason I asked. But
no, I just wanted to add that the Roald Dahl estate was part of the production of this film. So it looks like they're going to be making more films that are accessible through Roald Dahl's sort of works.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Well, I like the fact that this is a film. Oh, by the way, I've got to compliment Universal because they put on a terrific spread at one of my favourite theatre, probably my favourite cinema, apart from IMAX, which is my favourite place to see a movie. But the Rivoli is just a wonderful, wonderful Art Deco cinema. And since they've basically improved it, tarted it up, bad use of a word, but a few years ago, I love going there. And they put on that. I don't know. Have you tried it? They put on chocolate toothpaste. Have you yet tried that, Peter?
No, I'm too afraid to walk around with brown teeth.
Well, okay. I'm going to tell you guys a story. Settle back, right? Settle back and enjoy the story.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you. Once upon a time, there was a little fella, me, barely able to sort of reach above the kitchen table, and he trotted himself off to India. And there were lots of people in India, and he went to a very, very nice hotel, and you get shampoo and you get all sorts of other goodies that you take away at the end of your stay. Not the kitchen sink, but the slippers and the comb and stuff like that. And the most delirious experience he had, apart from staying in the hotel, which was delightful, was the fact that he was given chocolate shampoo. Seriously. I absolutely... Now, this shows how much of a chocoholic I am. Can you imagine sort of putting, rubbing it through your hair, and the aroma is just intoxicating. It fills the room. It's fantastic. And I was so disappointed when I ran out of it when I got back to Australia. I actually, after seeing Wonka, a true story, I Googled chocolate shampoo and I'm going to buy some more. So there you go. It really satisfied my taste buds as well. Have you ever heard of chocolate shampoo prior to this conversation, Greg?
No, I haven't. And thank you for awakening me to that, Alex, there.
Why not? And Peter, with all being hirsute, chocolate shampoo may do it for you, right?
I can just imagine the top deck hair.
Top deck hair, exactly. So there you go. It's not cheap, I might say. I don't know why, but I could do vanilla. I like vanilla. Do you like the smell of vanilla, Peter?
My goodness, what are you putting through your hair? This is getting out of hand.
No, this is a hair-raising exploration, Alex.
Yes.
Hey, listen. Excuse me. Because I'm getting my skull cap up top. What do you mean getting? I've got. I asked my darling wife. I said, look, can I just go? Can I go the full bottle and just sort of shine the dome? And she said, absolutely no way. If you dare do that, the marriage is over. Well, I reckon some people do bald well, and I haven't tried it. I mean, as a youngster, I had a massive afro. It was like, imagine putting your finger into a socket, right? It was like that. I had a massive socket of hair. But as the years have passed, I thought it was time to try something different, but she doesn't want me to. Nothing wrong with bald men, is there? Hey? Okay.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I know. This has really gone off the rails. It's lovely, a little bit of distraction here and there. All right, so let us now get back to rating for Wonka. PG rated, and it runs for all of 116 minutes. Score out of 10, Gregory King.
Well, look, I'll give it 7 out of 10.
Okay. And Mr. Curmudgeon?
I give it the same mark as Greg, 7 out of 10.
Well, that's sort of better than average, but I reckon it's worth more. I reckon you guys are you're giving it a hard time. 8 out of 10 for mine, for Wonka. Yes, why not? Go along and see it. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. Now, we didn't speak about Master Gardener, which opened the previous week, and I have caught up with it, and I'm really pleased that I did. I enjoyed this movie. I really did. Now,
well,
okay.
Enjoy is not really the word for this one, Alex. It's a bit dark and bleak at times.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I appreciated it. You're quite right. Thank you for the correction. And I get the whack. Look, it's M-rated. It's 111 minutes. I've never heard the name of the Joel Edgerton character. Have you ever heard that before, Greg? Narvel. Narvel. Where does that come from?
I've no idea.
No.
Probably a bit of navel gazing went into this one.
Thank you.
That's a marvel.
That's, yes. All right. So Narvel Roth is the character that he plays. He's a remarkably gifted and meticulous gardener who leaves nothing to chance. Everything he does is planned and documented. Nevertheless, his nights are plagued by flashbacks to a different time in his life. And he leads a team of gardeners tending the grounds of Norma Haverhill's beautiful and historic private estate called Gracewood Gardens. And Norma Haverhill is a role filled by Sigourney Weaver. He is preparing for the annual spring charity auction when Ms. Haverhill, who is a no-nonsense employer, calls him in for a chat. She asks him to engage her troubled grandniece, Maya Core, played by Quintessa Swindell, whom she hasn't seen since the latter was a little girl, wants him to employ her as his apprentice. Pardon me. I'm going to now take a drink because I'm going hoarse. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. So Miss Haverhill makes it clear she has no respect for Maya Core's mother, who is her niece, and who was a drug addict. And it's soon established that 20-something Maya is quick on the uptake and seemingly settles well into her gardening duties. That is until she has a couple of unsettling run-ins with the hard-nosed Miss Haverhill. Things really begin to unravel after Maya arrives at work having been beaten up by the drug peddler that also dealt with her mother. And at the same time, a jealous Miss Haverhill accuses Narvel of having sexual relationship with Maya. Truth be told, age is no barrier for Miss Haverhill to have a special relationship with the conciliatory Narvel. Now, there's much on the line here, as Narvel's intent on breaking Maya's drug cycle, while his nefarious past threatens to prevent that from happening. The Narvel of today is a vastly different man from the one he was more than a decade earlier, and yet he may have to use the wiles of bygone days to deal with the present. It's been written and directed by Paul Schrader, who was responsible for The Card Counter. It's a measured, dramatic thriller. It's got a mysterious and ugly underbelly, and it's a question of pulling back the layers, which only happens gradually, because we, the audience, we're left to piece together the full backstory, which is not revealed. That's a deliberate drip feed ploy by Schrader. Works well, as the cues are strong enough to do that. In other words, Schrader lets our respective and collective imaginations run freely. Although not initially envisaged as a trilogy, Master Gardener does mark the end of 3 what I'll call lonely figure films. They're movies concerning characters wrestling with the past and hiding behind day jobs, waiting for something to change. First was First Reformed, that was 2017. The Card Counter I mentioned in 2021, and now Master Gardener. Mind you, that kind of character first emerged in Taxi Driver. That was a film that Schrader wrote back in 1976 as an outgrowth of the existential hero that you often got in European fiction. Narvel, like so many Schrader leading men, is a loner, and he sports a largely poker face, as that Edgerton is sort of sporting this largely poker face, still manages to channel a range of traits for Narvel, including restraint, determination, and menace, as this Master Gardener. And there's an orderliness and respect about his fellow green thumbs as they're cast in this movie. As Ms. Haverhill, Sigourney Weaver is a controlling figure, very used to getting her way. And with her life at the crossroads, Quintessa Swindell has a magnetism, I thought, about her as Maya. Quite an endearing character, even though she's certainly got a dark side. I really appreciated the plot twists, the gritty feel of the movie, which balances order with chaos. Did you appreciate it as well, Peter, or not?
I did. I really like Paul Schrader's work, and the way he deals with the writing that he does, and also with his direction. First Reformed you mentioned, and Taxi Driver, and Raging Bull, etc. He deals with damaged people or people who need redemption of some sort as well. And I found Master Gardener so interesting because of the neo-Nazi aspect that's developed in the storyline, as well as the racial issues that come up: white supremacy, white superiority, wealth versus poverty, etc. There are so many aspects to the film without going into too much detail in the narrative structure of the plot, that I think it makes the film very impressive. And it is extremely well acted by Edgerton and by Sigourney Weaver, especially, who plays this rather difficult, privileged white role extremely well.
Yeah. What about Quintessa Swindell? I thought she certainly impressed me.
She's good. She's good. She needs to develop more in terms of other films, etc. And she's used more as a device, if you like, in the story to pivot between Edgerton and Weaver's characters. Nevertheless, this is a very strong film. Paul Schrader is such an important filmmaker, and I thoroughly endorse this film, that people go and see it. It's excellent.
And Greg, did you enjoy it too?
Well, as I said before, Alex, it's not a film I actually enjoy, because it's a fairly nihilistic film towards the end there. And as you and Peter were pointing out, it follows the trajectory of a lot of Schrader's films, and a sort of loner character trying to atone for his dark past there. This build-up is slow and measured, and then it ventures into more familiar territory before it erupts into controlled violence at the end. It follows the template of films like Taxi Driver, The Card Counter, First Reformed, and all those. But I thought the performances were quite good here. Edgerton has a button-up quality here to his performance. It's nicely understated. And he brings a sort of dour quality to his novel there. And his growing sense of unease is palpable there. And I thought Weaver was suitably haughty and imperious and cold, and slightly unhappy there. I didn't think there was a real spark of chemistry, though, between Edgerton and Swindell. And I found their romance a little bit unlikely.
That's interesting. I did. I thought, again, I think I must have thought much more of Quintessa Swindell than both of you. That's
I thought it was nicely shot by regular cinematographer Alexander Dinan, a little bit dark and bleak at times there. And I thought the production design was actually quite good there, bringing a sense of rotting grandeur to those gardens and the Haverhill estate there. And I thought the garden itself became a potent, if somewhat heavy-handed metaphor for the themes of regeneration, growth and change that Schrader is exploring here.
Agreed. Yeah, so, I mean, okay, overall then, Greg, what would you give it out of 10? It's Master Gardener, 111 minutes, M-rated.
6.5 to 7.
Okay, Peter, you'll go higher than that, won't you?
Absolutely. I give it 8 out of 10.
And I give it 7.5. So, okay, it's a film that we would certainly recommend. Now, a movie, this was an interesting experience. I went to, where did I go to? The Dendy to see this one. I'd missed it when it, I think there was a screener that we were given, and I didn't see it. One True Loves. Were we given a screener, boys? Or where did you see it, Peter?
Yeah, I think I did have a screener for that.
Yeah, okay. So PG rated 100 minutes. So this was the experience. So I get into the cinema. It's a very narrow cinema, the one that I think was number 5. And there was a gentleman there, and I was the only other patron the night that I saw it. And halfway through, the gentleman walks out and doesn't come back. So, interesting. Anyway, PG rated 100 minutes, One True Loves. Think old-fashioned, free-to-air midday movie, right? Or a Mills and Boon romance novel. And your head's in the right space to contemplate One True Loves. Since school days, Sam has been into Emma. But Emma always had the hots for the school swimming champion, Jessie. And as it turned out, Jessie swept Emma off her feet. They fell deeply in love. They travelled the world together. They got married. She, in fact, as a travel writer. And there's your happily ever after. Well, not quite. Work sees Jessie, played by Luke Bracey, head off to Alaska on his own, promising to celebrate their wedding anniversary when he returns home. I think it was the first wedding anniversary, wasn't it, Peter? From recollection? But anyway, wedding anniversary. Instead, Emma, played by Philippa Sue, gets a dreadful phone call to say that Jessie's missing, presumed dead, after a helicopter crash in the Pacific Ocean. And Emma's totally lost, bereft of what to do next. So it is that her older sister Marie, played by Michaela Conlon, sweeps her up, brings her back to their picturesque small hometown in Massachusetts. And it's there that Marie and their parents operate a bookstore. something Emma never wanted to be a part of. But now things are different. The combination of the local environment, the familiarity of the bookshop brings Emma a sense of solace. And then unexpectedly, Emma bumps into Sam. This is the guy who had the hots for her all those years ago, played by Simu Liu once more. And he's now the high school music teacher. A spark ignites, and in time the pair's engaged to be married. Thereafter, Emma receives a call that rocks everyone's socks. 4 years after he disappeared, Jesse has been found on a deserted island. Suddenly, Emma has to try to navigate what the future looks like loving two men, with those feelings reciprocated by each of them. Awkward. It's been written by Taylor Jenkins Reid and Alex Jenkins Reid, based on the former's book of the same name. Both writers have television backgrounds, and it shows. In fact, the movie looks like it has been written for television. It's schmaltzy, features a bunch of good-looking, nice people, feels heavily manufactured or put on to solicit audience sympathy. And given those restraints, obtaining performances that had a ring of truth about them was always going to be a challenge. Mind you, I did like the moral quandary that was established and opened itself up to being explored further. So too the setting. The scenery is beautiful, which the cinematographer Greg Gardner has captured well. It's directed by Andy Fickman. It plays it safe and by the book, does it not, Peter?
Ah, yes, One True Loves. This film has gone straight onto my list of one of the worst films of the year. I was cringing through it as I was watching it, and I must say, there's everything wrong about this film, I have to say. One is the title, which is grammatically idiotic. Secondly...
That's the whole idea. Hang on. They've done that deliberately to get people like you, get up your goat, and they've succeeded. Congratulations.
I don't remember the goat in the film, but I must watch out for it again. Secondly, Luke Bracey, who's an Australian actor, is given a role that is just makes no sense whatsoever. 4 years on a deserted island. How could he have possibly survived? This is just ludicrous plotting.
Wait a second. Okay. Hang on. I'm sure that we had a volleyball and there was survival in a very fine movie not so many years ago. Hey?
Thank you. Can I keep going?
No. Well, hang on. You said you don't know how he could survive. He's very industrious. He swims very well, and he's obviously captured fish. And maybe there's coconuts on island.
And maybe Santa is
exactly
sliding down the pole. Yes.
What's wrong with Santa and the Easter Bunny, right? Right. You're very, very harsh, Peter. Yes, keep going.
Thank you. I like my curmudgeon role.
Yes.
I also the whole plot premise makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, you have this music teacher who spends his time talking to his class about his relationship situation. Again, makes no sense.
Well, wait a second. You got
to idiotic.
No, you got to put context around that. He is about to get married to the love of his life, who he's loved since he was at high school and she was at high school. The husband's come back, and now he doesn't know whether the husband has got prior rights, and therefore he's going to miss out. And so he spills his guts out to his students and to the fellow teachers. What's so difficult to you're being? Oh my golly! What?
Very, very stupid, I have to say, and
it may be
the whole plotting is stupid.
Yeah, you imagine that happening, couldn't you?
Good, yeah, of course.
Hang on, you and Greg are both in a teaching environment. Could that ever happen in a school?
No. You would not share that sort of
you normally would. I would agree that it's not.
Of course not.
Yeah.
And such good actors as Michael O'Keefe, who I remember back from films dating back a number of years, and Tom Everett Scott, are totally wasted in this film.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Tom Everett Scott, I've got to say, in a thankless role. Mm.
This is one of those awful Hallmark style films, which obviously leads to a happy ending. Obviously, all of them have to be satisfactorily resolved. One True Loves, I would give that a huge miss. It is just awful.
Well, look, it's been a long time since Greg, do you remember, even on your program, I often talked about sort of midday movie and this was, for years I did this. I haven't been doing it recently because there haven't been many that have come out that I felt that was in that sort of space. This one definitely is. I thought it was okay. I knew exactly what was happening. I knew exactly what was going to happen once it was established that he'd been lost and found. Notwithstanding that, I suppose I adopted, it's a midday movie type film, and it snuck through into the cinemas. I'm giving it a 5.5 out of 10. So a bare pass, PG, 100 minutes. You're going to fail it. I know that. What's your score? Is it 1 or is it 2, Peter?
You are so right. I can barely give it 2 out of 10.
There you go. Wow. So this makes the list, eh? Have you seen a worse film, Peter, this year?
Oh, yes. Blue Beetle is one that comes to mind. The Fast X was just awful. Shazam. Look, there are some really shockers this year.
Okay, cool. It's nice to know that, you're keeping count. I'm delighted to hear it. So, all right.
I do have good films too, though.
I'm delighted to hear it. And by the way, I think we'll do that next week, guys. In terms of the film, do we do Christmas films or do we do films of the year next week? What do you think? Maybe we do Christmas films and then we do films of the year the following week. We'll talk about it after. Your people will talk to my people outside the confines of this program, and we'll work that through. Let's have a look at a movie which we talked about a few weeks ago, Greg, didn't we, when we were talking about the British Film Festival, but it's now going to come out on Boxing Day, and that's One Life, correct? We did talk about it a few weeks ago from recollection. And it's a movie that I really want people to see. I think it's a very good film. I think we saw it probably back in October, November, something like that. That's my recollection in terms of...
Yes, it was the media launch for the British Film Festival.
Okay, good. Well, December 1938, Nicky Winton, mild-mannered British stockbroker, headed for a week in Prague. And increasingly, refugees have fled there to try to outrun the growing Nazi presence in Europe. And Winton wants to help in any way he can, but the situation he finds when he gets there really disturbs him. Children, many of them Jewish, are facing desperately poor conditions. They've got little or no shelter, they're malnourished, they're sick, and they are dying as the tide of anti-Semitism rises. Where others work within the system, Winton subverts it. He's intent on transporting as many children as he can via train to temporary homes in England before the borders are closed. But first he needs the legal authority to do that, as well as the financing, as well as the foster parents. Decades later, as I say, started December 1938, now 1987, living in Maidenhead, England, Winton's wartime experiences come flooding back. The prompt is opening a thick scrapbook which charts his exploits, and in turn that triggers a series of life-affirming events. Quite a remarkable story of persistence and humility. Winton's presented as a humanitarian intent on doing the right thing, and as a younger man, he's the driving force behind a quite remarkable rescue effort. In old age, he finally gets the recognition he so richly deserved. Based on the book If It's Not Possible by Nicholas Winton's daughter, Barbara, who unfortunately passed away midway through principal photography on this movie. And the screenplay by Lucinda Coxon and Nick Drake is very well developed, many surprises coming near the end of the film. Present as an emotional, heartfelt journey jumping between the onset of war and the late 1980s. Score by Volker Bertelmann really resonates. Direction from James Hawes, who cut his teeth helming TV series. His transition to the big screen seems to be seamless as far as I'm concerned. Thought Anthony Hopkins was compelling, measured, humble as a man initially told to clean up his clutter. Johnny Flynn plays Winton's younger self as respectful but shocked into taking action when others see the barriers as being too severe. Helena Bonham Carter, memorable as Winton's assertive mother Babette, who brought up a son with a strong streak of conscience. Lena Olin fills the role of Winton's loving Danish-born wife Gret with warmth and alacrity. And Romola Garai paints Doreen Warren at the head of the British Committee for Refugees in Czechoslovakia as an energetic and spirited leader. And Alex Sharp, good sort as Trevor Chadwick, boots on the ground, fellow Brit in Prague, never afraid of mucking in. Look, this film, One Life, gives voice to the truism one man can make a difference, and it reminded me of the excellent film Schindler's List. I also couldn't but help think about just how much this movie resonates in the fractured world in which we live today. It's a pivotal picture, and it's on general release on Boxing Day. What did you think of it, Peter?
Oh, I really liked it. And by the way, it corrects that it was the opening night film with the British, not the media launch film. Excellent performance by Anthony Hopkins. There have been a few documentaries about Winton, but this film about the early days of the Kinder transport is really well developed and moving. And it was nice to see the television show that where all of this was revealed, that was hosted by Esther Ranson at the time, and actress who plays her does it very well. No, I really liked One Life very much.
Worthwhile. Yeah, worthwhile. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, it's a great little film. It's tempting you call this film Winton's List, isn't it?
Yeah. It is that. Yeah.
A great story there. Anthony Hopkins is one of those actors that seems to get better with age, isn't he?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you long to see him on the screen, Greg. I agree with you. Good assessment, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It's a great story, as you said there. And I thought the production details and the period detail was also very well done.
And the juxtaposition between time frames actually works very well. Even though we've sort of praised Anthony Hopkins, Johnny Flynn's got a substantial role in this, Greg, doesn't he? I mean, he does a good job.
He does a good. But there are times when he captures some of Anthony Hopkins' mannerisms, or was it the other way around?
Yeah.
Some of his mannerisms.
And I will also love seeing Helena Bonham Carter. We don't see a lot of her, but she's a very stoic actor and somebody who you always recognise when she appears on screen. So, score out of 10, Greg?
I'll give it 7.5.
And Peter?
I really liked it, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree with you, Peter. I gave it an 8 out of 10. PG rated 109 minutes. Boys, thank you very much for your contribution to First on Film and Entertainment today. We will do it all again next week, and be kind to one another as we get closer to the festive season. Don't toot your horn too badly in traffic, and be nice to the shopkeepers that are trying to look after us. Catch you then. See you later on First on Film and Entertainment.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
David's Bridal, where brides and bridesmaids get fabulously dressed. We let our friends pick out what we wear, show off our dance moves, obsess over every little detail, hold your hand through it all, smile bravely when it's time to let go. Make your dreams come true. The things we do for love. Only at David's Bridal.